proven game for Vitality. BDS has consistently been the gatekeeper this season against them.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is probably one of my favorite matchups. We already start with a flick from Alpha. That one's gonna roll in by Mark by 8. Actually, a little bit of an own goal. He was panicking. The ball was just floating on the goal line. You can't blame him. And right off the bat, we already know this is gonna be a great series, Jorby.
It was actually a nice delay there by Alpha initially on that flick. The kickoff already puts you in such a favorable position.
Yeah.
But Monkey Moon did what he could, turning back onto the corner. And Alpha just the little delay to put it farther to the right. So that's a great start for Vitality. And Turtle, I will say this. If things start to get screwy for Vitality, they always have the secret weapon, the most dangerous weapon in all of Rocket League, and that's Mount. But K-Dot will throw this away, and Mark
I was just with that whole monologue, I was expecting, you're gonna say Alpha 54, his mechanics, something along those lines. But you know what? I respect
hashtag Mount Gang.
There we go. I respect it.
Was pretty great to see earlier. Marked by 8, though. It's a nice pass, and Extra snuck it under the whole defense. It didn't take long for BDS.
See, my favorite thing about this series is we're just going to see fantastic striking on both sides. Look at Extra slotting in under both defenders, the speed on the ball, and every single aspect right there of the shot. You got the accuracy, the power, the timing too to rotate in. These guys, just such a good response. Only a minute in and we've already got some crazy goals.
Well, Team BDS have quite the star power on their team. Extra, who picks up the save, is at the forefront of that stardom, has posted quite a season so far and has been part of this meteoric rise of Team BDS. I mean, you can say something about all 3 players, but Extra, he stands out just a little bit more. And that's the most dangerous thing about these teams at the top, is all 3 of them can pop off individually and can seem to do no wrong. Vitality are full of the same players, but BDS, like we said, they've gotten the better of Vitality more than a couple of times, and right now they're cutting off a couple of key Vitality passes on their attempts downfield. But BDS have mostly controlled the pace of this. Vitality are usually chasing down like that some of these balls, and Extra got the whole load of it.
Yeah, and we're seeing really booming clears after booming clears. No team holding too much pressure. We've seen a lot from BDS, but also a couple of good looks from Vitality. Definitely the first game. Fairy Peak off the corner. I can't believe he read this and set himself up beautifully.
A great challenge when it started from K-Dot. And Fairy Peak just had the pre-flip. No, he had the read as soon as he touched the ball.
Wow.
Fairy Peak knew exactly where that was going as soon as he got the touch. It was an immediate pre-flip. He's like, all right, I'm sailing. That ball is right into my bumper.
As soon as you flip there, you're all in. There's no if, and, or buts about it. You have to go for it. And there's basically no correction you can make unless you're completely wrong. You're just gonna miss whiff completely, and still the angle was so difficult. We talk about the read, but also getting the angle to barely tap it with the bottom of his car right there, Jorby. I mean, I'm just excited to see all the shooting and striking that we'll see so far from both teams.
It just may turn into a shootout. And Alpha behind the ball, you know that there's going to be at least a couple of opportunities in the air. Oh, hard pass and rebound that Monkey Moon collects on. And Team BDS, don't let Vitality stay in the lead for too long.
It's an unfortunate double commit too from K-Dop and Alpha trying to clear that one out. Ideally, you'd have somebody get the touch and then the follow-up to get the challenge. Instead, you gave up space by double committing. And even Fairpeak himself said, you know, as long as you get that ball out and cleared, the double commit doesn't matter. But in that instance, it did not work out. They couldn't get the strong hit. And it's BDS to capitalize.
Well, Vitality would love to retain a lead for more than 10 seconds. It's certainly difficult with that passing threat from Team BDS. It's not just the passing, it's the power of the passing that can make it, you know, you start getting whiplash with your camera whipping around on defense. With Vitality, they're playing more defense. And Extra's gonna pull off on this. He sees Fairy Peak, who ends up missing the touch. But the rest of Vitality were already back on the play. Oh, Extra drops the ball for Mark by 8. He gets bumped by K-Dop, but Monkey Moon has a look on the ball. K-Dop lets it drop. Fairy Peak play it out to the corner, but both sides are locked down by Team BDS. Extra hopped right on top of it. They're keeping Vitality honest on the goal line right now. And Fairy Peak, he's just desperate for a clear, and K-Dop wins a massive 50.
Oh, that was crazy defense from Vitality. I mean, multiple overhead reads off the backboard, and that is something that Vitality have always been good at, and usually it's Fairy Peak leading the way with those reads, massive clears as well. And Alpha also made a crazy save in that little sequence. So Vitality, I was a little bit concerned with how their defense would be able to handle the BDS offense. A lot of times it seems like they break down just by the amount of shots and the overwhelming presence of Extra and especially Monkey Moon, but they have been handling it so precisely now. With only a minute left, let's see if they can keep it up and find a counterattack.
Yeah, they've been testing the midfield challenge ability of Team BDS with those hard clears out. And KDOP, he's been winning them more and more. But Team BDS, the offense has quieted. They've had scant few opportunities. And now Vitality will just give it right back to Monkey Moon, and it just sails into the net. Vitality completely blown apart on defense.
Oh, and this is all the rotation from Alpha. He cheated up because he had so much respect for Fairy Peak's pass there to go right to his car. Fairy Peak instead gave away the ball to a free clear on net. And Alpha, I mean, that just shows how important your accuracy with passing is. If Fairy Peak doesn't get that out, it's just going to be a free net. That's exactly what happened. And Alpha, I mean, you can't blame him for wanting to go for the risky play.
Yeah, it's still a risky pass, too.
Yeah.
From second man to third man, and you know that right there lurking was Monkey Moon. He certainly had the capability to block the pass out. So Vitality might just be feeling the heat. They only have 4 shots on net in this whole match, or in this whole game, excuse me. Fairy Peak, weak attempts on the clear when it drops down. And Team BDS have owned game number 1. Vitality, they got a few quick strikes, but their defense has been a little leaky, and Team BDS have taken advantage.
Well, I mean, Vitality are always willing to go for those risky passing plays too, but against BDS, it's scary because, you know, as the history shows, BDS always have a confidence defense against Vitality and seem to intercept those clears and those passes so much better than any other team right now in Europe. And I think that's why Vitality need to kind of scratch that idea of going for those midfield passes that might be a little bit more risky and focus maybe on some solo plays, something to stop giving away possession to BDS.
And even on some of the plays where they did get the save that they wanted, they put it up high. BDS couldn't immediately hop up and grab it. They'd get bumped in net, and then that little chip would snowball out of control on defense. Fairy Peak has to hop over KDOP after he gets bumped, so he's slow to the next ball. And then that's when you start feeling desperate, and that's why those desperation clears started coming. But, you know, Turtle, you're absolutely right. Monkey Moon especially putting 8 shots on net. And this team is just so threatening on the infield passes. They're so fast. And Vitality, they're always retreating when they happen. And so it's so tough for them to receive some of those passes from BDS.
Well, it's the thing that amazes me about BDS is their decision-making with when to go for solo plays. I mean, we even saw it there for Vitality. Fairy Peak should not have gone for a risky pass like that. And BDS, on the other side, they almost never seem to make mistakes where it's resulting in a risky pass that just gives away the ball. And it's weird because, you know, you have Monkey Moon, who's a player who can go for so many solo plays, but he also knows exactly when to pass. The same with Mark by 8, who I'd say is the main assister of this roster. And they never really have shaky passes that just kind of go directly to open space and give it away to Vitality.
Yeah, the only times we really see them really struggle for offense is when teams get, you know, solid control of midfield. They can confidently challenge every touch that BDS give them. And Vitality, they can play that aggressive style, but they much prefer to control that ball, pass it around. You know, Alpha especially, you know, he loves to carry, air dribble the ball, find a flip reset if he wants, and he utilizes that in his passing game as well. But they haven't had the space to do it, and they've been struggling to really get the ball downfield. It's like laterally they don't have a problem, but you know, the more you pass the ball laterally, the more time BDS have to assess the situation and position properly, and they work. Their communication is, like you were alluding to, always solid. So the more time you spend figuring out how to go forward, the more time BDS have to figure out how to stop you.
Yeah, exactly. We can even see it in the midfield space that's been given a little bit to BDS right now. Vitality a little bit flat on the defensive line pushback. And it doesn't mean that, you know, Vitality are struggling by any means in this series. They've kept it close. They've had a couple of good shots, but in terms of overall pressure and the threatening offenses, I mean, I think the most important highlight from Vitality was that Fairy Peak double tap. But other than that, seemed a little bit slow. See if they can pick it up here in game 2, though.
Oh, Extra just got that ball out. It's just skated by the, I don't know who went for the dunk there. They flew into the net so fast, I didn't see their name. Yeah. But Alpha wants to get things going here for Vitality. The offense has stuttered, but they did put 2 early shots on net, and they're slowly gaining control of midfield. Ooh, marked by 8. Comes from behind to grab that save, and then he picks this ball up as well. But this is still good pressure. This is what Vitality want. Just keep BDS locked in. Don't let that ball skate by your last man in midfield. They've accomplished that at least, but they're going to want some more shot opportunities. BDS, well, now they're forcing Vitality to retreat, use a little bit more boosts. Vitality have collected the boosts on their side for the most part, so not feeling the strain exactly. Defense has been pretty solid for Vitality. BDS had slowly grabbed midfield back.
Oh, and it's wins like that from Alpha 54 that are going to put Vitality in the lead. If you're beating BDS to those midfield clears and keeping pressure and denying BDS, from keeping that ball in your own zone, that's where you can start to build out on offense, because as we all know, Vitality thrives so much when there's maybe 2 or 3 consecutive shots in a row, and then you come in for maybe Alpha 54 solo play or Fairy Peak like we saw last game.
K-Dop, he's been positioning his second man for some of these clears or some of these continuations, but BDS have consistently put the ball away from him, and it's forced him to rely on his third man to come in and clean up while he retreats because he doesn't have an angle onto the ball. He can't find exactly the right position right now in game 2, but it can all flip pretty quickly. Here's Alpha. He's going to get it to K-Dop, but Extra was able to get back to the ball. Monkey Moon got a demo on the back end. Maybe he can create that, or maybe that was space for him, but it was already K-Dop and Fairy Peak pushing it back.
Oh, and there's 2 players from BDS just rushing back. It's so scary because once you go for those offensive attacks after getting an initial save, you're running solo on boost, 2 players rotating back, and there's space for Vitality right now. I think they are looking the most dominant here in game 2, and we're just waiting for that crack in defense from BDS so long as Vitality don't double commit or maybe have that same issue where they're going for too risky of a pass.
Well, Extra's been the most difficult man to deal with on defense. He has 3 saves, and he just cut off that pass as well from Vitality. Fairy Peak, he's just punting this ball downfield. The rest of Vitality setting up for the return. K-Dop on the next 50. The Fairy Peak, he can't turn on it. Alpha's way late to the ball, but Fairy Peak will get back in time. Despite Vitality slowly grabbing control of this game, constantly putting this ball on the BDS back wall, they have no goals. Still hunting with 20 seconds remaining in regulation.
Well, it's a big clear.
Alpha had the time. They'll put it over to K-Dop, but that's not the clear Vitality want. They're given that mistouch as a gift. Now Alpha's downfield. No, he has to retreat out of boost. That's a look for K-Dop. Back to Fairy Peak, and hopping on that immediately was Extra yet again. Oh, the dunk for Monkey Moon, and no, it drops right in front of the net. Vitality take a deep sigh of relief.
Oh my goodness, Monkey Moon, that pre-jump to dunk Alpha. K-Dop got that back pass, and we could have seen a buzzer beater, maybe even from Vitality, had Monkey Moon not gotten a touch, and that would have rolled in certainly for BDS. So unfortunate if you're a fan of them, but Vitality, they took a giant breath of air after it went into overtime. That is insane.
That's exactly what they needed in overtime to reset the score, and Alpha 54 puts them on the tie for the series.
Baby. This is what we want out of this series. We want at least a game 7 something worthwhile, because I think that's what we're going to get. Alpha 54 controls that ball beautifully, gets it on his hood, and a nice flick. And that's the same thing that started out this series, I believe, was Alpha 54, the dribble play off the kickoff in the previous game. And he does it again here to go up 1-0. Team BDS, they almost got that buzzer beater. I'm so shocked because I thought Monkey Moon, maybe he had a chance to get under the ball, but unfortunately, it bounced down.
It did bounce down, but it was just to keep Vitality. They were pushing the ball really well at the end of regulation. K-Dop also he hurried Extra up on the goal line on that Alpha goal. Extra probably jumped a half second earlier than he might have wanted to, because he saw Alpha come and he knew he was going to search for the side, but K-Dop was hunting him right behind him, and Extra jumped right before he got bumped. But that was enough. Like, he didn't have any momentum going forward, and the boost wasn't going to catch him up in time. They literally had to take Extra out, and it was just hurrying him up that did it. But Extra was such a nuisance on defense. It worked out for Vitality, and now it's all about running it back and doing it again.
That was a scary moment too, because you can see BDS had 2 players in net rotating in instead of going out into the midfield, or at least on top of the box, to go for a challenge on that alpha dribble. And it's the decision making, you know, I talked about it from BDS, that was fantastic, but then you got to talk about alpha in that situation to control it instead of going for an early shot. If you can keep that ball close, you force one of the players who's sitting in net to come at you close. If you can get the flick over him, it's almost a guaranteed goal rather than going for an early shot where 2 players have a chance to pre-jump and get a save.
Well, BDS knew it wasn't going to be easy, and we'll be guaranteed at least a Game 5 in our first best of 7 of the day. You know, Vitality, we're going to have to run back to their own half and wait for Monkey Moon. For K-Dop this time, he's, ever since we were talking about him feeling maybe a little lost in the first half of Game 2,
yeah,
I think he's found his stride again. He's been in the right spot to make solid contact on these challenges and keep that ball away. This is a tough position for Vitality, but Alpha had the time to get back and hand that ball off to K-Dop, but it just turns into a shot extra, throws it down on the double, and that might keep possession for BDS, but now they have to go into full retreat. Fairy Peak on front for Vitality, and it won't turn into anything. They all have to pull back yet again. What? I found a gap. He tried to get Alpha to bite early, but he just grabs the rebound instead.
I like that earlier play from K-Dop to go on the backboard to follow up the clear attempt, as that one almost rolls in from Alpha off the post, I believe. And K-Dop, you know, it was a little bit shaky. He got it out. And you expect those double taps from BDS to get hit 90% of the time. So it is a bit shocking. I even saw it earlier today in BDS's first initial series that they missed a couple of double taps. So maybe a little bit not warmed up there. And it seems like once they start hitting those, we'll see that full, you know, team BDS where everything is there, connecting with passes. You've got the crazy mechanical double taps, and you've also got a solid defense. So maybe we're not seeing the full potential yet of BDS.
And to the credit of Vitality, I mean, they've certainly made it difficult for BDS when they are clicking on offense.
Oh, yeah.
Since Game 1, the leaky defense has been plugged, and BDS have really had to search for opportunities and get a little more creative on offense. And sometimes you just take the shot and look for the gap. Extra almost did. The rest of Vitality, gonna wait for this carry from Mark by 8. Took him a while to get behind the ball. This is going to be Monkey Moon. Alpha, he's going to let Fairy Peak grab that. The double commit won't mean too much as Fairy Peak gets back to his touch. So Vitality stop another BDS attack. Nothing really threatening from them just yet.
Vitality's starting to look more and more to each other for the defensive transition, which I always have appreciated about the roster and how they play. Never just trying to boom this ball forward, instead trying to find a teammate, even if you're right in front of your own net, just keeping calm and keeping that level head, so that you know that if you can just transition out smoothly instead of give away possession, that's your best bet against beating this BDS defense. And even Alpha here, look, he's keeping possession, goes for the boost. The smart play now keeps it to himself, and he's got a better clear. It's stuff like this that make Vitality so threatening on defense.
Yeah, it really cleaned things up after the whiff from Fairy Peak.
Exactly.
And then immediately played it back. So Alpha, knowing possession a little more important than pushing the ball forward. BDS starting to grab control of midfield. Monkey Moon, you know, BDS consistently trying to carry this ball on that spot. They're always grabbing the ball right here, and they're going to do it again. Look, Extra got the flip reset. He actually wins against Fairy, and Mark by 8 can't get there in time. But still, they are constantly trying to go for this air dribble, you know. Vitality, maybe they want them to come up and 50 them. The positioning from BDS certainly suggests it on those carries. Vitality haven't given them what they wanted, though. They're back on the blue half.
Well, they could try and pull off, you know, the strategy that Alpha 54 seems to be going, where he's keeping the ball low. But this is a shot from K-Dop in the midfield. This one slipped out. I don't know where the defense was from BDS. You expected somebody to push out on top of the box, and it's almost like a double commit in the corner for the boost from Mark and Extra.
And Mark, Mark was strolling out expecting a challenge to happen. When he realized none was coming, he had to turn back really quick, and then he saw Monkey Moon, and he wasn't sure if Monkey Moon was going to get that or not, and so he tried to shade as much of the net as he could.
Right.
But then K-Dop just put a laser on net.
And it's that subtle lack of awareness where you need to know where your teammates are and how much boost they have, whether or not they're going to get touched. That could be, you know, a lot of different issues. It could be communication or just the fact that Mark by 8 wasn't aware of his teammate. That's a good pass out into the midfield. But this time, Vitality don't have 2 people going for the same boost. Everybody's organized.
BDS keeping Vitality away from insurance. You need to find a way back in the orange half quickly, otherwise things will turn for the worst in game number 3. Extra just gonna be there to make sure that they don't go the opposite direction. Now Monkey Moon will get it right, or not Monkey Moon, excuse me. Vitality will throw it right over marked by 8. Time running out now for BDS. Vitality holding them scoreless. Ooh. The defense has been clean. Long ball to Extra. He's gonna throw it back down. Monkey Moon can't grab it, so it's gonna be marked by 8's turn. And it's taken away yet again. Vitality pick up game 3 and also series advantage.
Yeah, and I want to say it was a much cleaner game from Vitality than it was BDS, but there was one mistake. I mean, that's all it took for Vitality to get in the lead here, was just that one simple double commit in the corner where both of them went for the same boost. And the same issue almost happened for Vitality. It was K-Dop who kind of just passed the ball out to the top of the box, giving BDS a free shot. They could have gotten a double tap, excuse me, but he missed. That's what I'm talking about. In that situation, if you hit that shot, it's all tied up here, and you guys are 1 for 1 with mistakes, but BDS unfortunately not able to punish Vitality. Meanwhile, Vitality, I mean, it was so easy for them once that ball rolled out into the midfield.
Well, I mean, Vitality pretty much had him red on offense. BDS just kept trying for that.
Right here.
Whether
that double tap, dude, that double tap, that was it. That was where they needed to change it.
I mean, that was still pretty tough, though. Like, Extra, he grabbed that, tried to be as speedy as possible because he knows Vitality were ready for it, and he can't just put it anywhere on net there.
I have high hopes. I have high hopes for these guys.
Extras hit the half chances, Turtle. Your expectations are certainly warranted. I'll give you that. But BDS, they got to find a way to. They got to find a way to get through Vitality. They can't force anything on the back wall or the backboard. They consistently tried for those air dribbles from midfield, but you know, Vitality were always ready for them, and they could never get the 50 win that they wanted out of it. The infield passes won them the game in game 1, and they just couldn't really find any sort of rhythm. I just feel like Vitality played excellent defense, and K-Dop bailing out his team on that last play right there. As game 4 is underway, a 3-point passing play will, well, result in a boomerang. Extras downfield. The shot's on target, but K-Dop denies him the goal. Marked by 8, drops it right in front of him again. Monkey Moon slowing it down, but BDS, that was as good as it was gonna get, but K-Dop, what a save.
I'm amazed that Vitality were able to hold on for that counterattack. That clear from BDS to hit Extra on the other side, it was so fast. I didn't think anybody could rotate back in time, but it was K-Dop, I believe, like you said, who got that last second save. Huge for Vitality in their defense.
I'm getting another touch. That's been a big proponent of this offense.
Oh, wow.
And also keeping BDS's offense completely quiet is K-Dop being a nuisance like that, setting up this play for Alpha.
Marked by 8, excuse me. I was about to say marked by Extra. Those two players basically just getting a bit confused again. Nobody knows how to go for the ball or when to, because they're looking for boost the entire time. Vitality, once they get on the offensive side, it's Alpha who's constantly taking boost. You even see him in the corner here. He just took the full boost pad, and now if they can just transition out of defense, they've got a solid job at getting probably one of the best looks at a counterattack and continue this lead.
Alpha, and he rolls under, or rather Monkey Moon took the ball away from him. That could have been dangerous, but Monkey Moon was ready, and that ball will sail right to K-Dop. He wanted the boomer. Vitality, they'll let that ball drop if they have the space. They'll immediately take that formation. They love going for that quick counterattack play in midfield. Alpha takes the ball again, marked by 8. Not the challenge Vitality were expecting or hoping for, but you do keep the ball locked for now. BDS offense has been non-existent despite the shots on net. K-Dop has denied you entry. Results in no goals in the last 8 minutes, or 7 minutes, excuse me, from BDS.
It's crazy because it's Vitality who are trying to keep this ball constantly in the air on defense, but then whenever they transition out, it's Alpha who usually keeps this ball low to the ground. I mean, they're not trying to bang it off the backboard or go for those air dribbles that you were mentioning earlier, Jorby, that BDS seem to constantly do. You know, they'll take it to the right side, go for an air dribble, force a 50, and hope something happens. But now Alpha 54, almost off the backboard. And look at how this ball is just grounded. It seems like once it goes to Vitality's side, it's just boomed into the air, and Vitality are totally fine with them taking to the corner like this and then go for a 50, and now it's cleared out.
That whole progression by Fairy Peak was really nicely done. He was Thinking BDS, okay, they want to bang that off the sidewall or just roll it up the sidewall, so he just flips in the way, and it goes right. Vitality were ready for it. They saw where Fairy Peak was shading, and the ball ends up in Fairy Peak's corner. Then he has to win another 50.
Oh, the bump, the bump.
Here they come. Oh, no, but it saves again. Alpha 54 picks it up, and he gets the challenge win as well. Well, I mean, what do you do if you're BDS? You threw out the entire deck on that play, and you got nothing.
Alpha, how do you recover after that? I could have sworn he got hit or there was some contact on the bump. He recovered out of the net, still got the save, and Vitality are staying in the lead. Bumped again. They're not going to recover from this one, though. Extra punishes them off of that great bump.
Well, Alpha is pulling his best K-Dop from last game and picking up save after save, but that was an unfortunate bounce. He tried to play it out to the corner, ended up hitting the inside of the post, and Extra was gonna get that all day long. So BDS, that favorable rebound, finally puts them back in the match. It was 8.5 minutes without a goal. They're still being pressed here. Extra gets smacked off the ball. The Fairy Peak at least can stand in the way. Vitality have just been such a danger in midfield. BDS really haven't found that same form in game one where, Vitality couldn't win a single challenge, but now it's clearly flipped. K-Dop has won so many 50s in midfield. BDS, they're stretching for boosts right now. It's going to be hard. Vitality will go for this passing play in midfield while everybody's flat-footed on BDS. And even right here, just they got to take their time. It's like, okay, well, I didn't hit you, so I'm just going to punch that reverse real quick. But that's unfortunate, too, because that's the stretch that they felt against Vitality. That one just off the mark. And no goal for Vitality. Marked by 8, wants to press. But that's going to be difficult to do while everybody's still back beyond the midfield line. Vitality just steal the ball away again. Alpha can't sneak it back in. But this will be Fairy Peak's ball next. And it gets knocked out. BDS, despite that game-tying goal, you still feel like Vitality have had the better of them on the pitch. Off the ceiling, Fairy Peak had the read. He drops it, and almost got him on the shade. Monkey Moon picked up that save, and they'll kill it for OT.
Yeah, and this has been so back and forth, and like you said, Jorby, it does seem like Vitality are a little bit more collected on defense. It's weird how they can still manage to hold the pressure from BDS, have boost to go forward, and keep finding passes out of their own end. That's the thing that has given them the edge, is, constantly looking for passes. Meanwhile, BDS, they're looking for boost. They just want to get this ball out, relieve some of that pressure, and even the demo from Out 54, that's going to help relieve the pressure as best as it can possibly be relieved. And now the bump maybe for Alpha. No, he gets the save. He's been having to dodge so many physical attempts.
BDS have pulled out everything that they have to try to score on Vitality, but they haven't been able to make anything work. Bumps haven't worked, the passing plays haven't worked, the carries, the dribbles, nothing. That doesn't even work. The ball just jet right to the wrong side of Extra, but another shot marked by 8. Extra tried to hop in front, but Alpha yet again, his 4th save. K-Dop has 3 of them to boot. Monkey Moon is frustrated as he clears the ball back downfield. Can BDS do anything against Vitality in this overtime? No. K-Dop sees a clear downfield. Monkey Moon forced up. He missed completely, and Vitality take advantage. Punished on the return. Vitality up another game.
K-Dop loaded up the cannon for that clear. Did you see it all the way across the map, off the backboard? BDS had just gone on this extensive offensive attack. They're rushing back to get boost. They didn't expect that boomer of a clear from K-Dop. They're rushing, scrambled all over in defense. They can't get the hit, panicked a little bit, and it's Vitality who punished. And that is not a surprise whatsoever. That entire game was Vitality running around in the space, finding passes, taking all of the boost, and BDS had to play catch up.
They were really just like, okay, Team BDS, they're trying some specific things against us. So, let's just look for those holes. Let's find those gaps, and let's really cut off that small ball passing that they want to do. Those quick passes that they found success with in game one, but Alpha was literally the reason nothing worked for BDS. Extra causing havoc in front of the net, doesn't matter. Alpha recovers, makes the save. Oh, you got a cool passing play off the whatever. I don't care. Alpha has the save.
Yeah.
Like Alpha every single time just came with a save. K-Dop had a couple of key ones as well. When Vitality's defense are playing that good, BDS, you can look as good as you want. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And you're going for a bump. You're like, okay, this is the player we got to take out. Alpha 54. He is unstoppable. Let's just demo this man. And you still can't even do that because he's dodging you left and right. And even when he's out of position, he'll get back just in time to make that save. That's what we saw last game. This Vitality roster, you know, even yesterday, I thought Alpha picked it up on offense. It was pretty much carrying the whole offensive attack because he was just a monster from the midfield with those shots. And now to step it back a little bit and play like this on defense, it just says so much about his versatility as a player.
Well, 3 of the last 5 matchups between these two have gone the way of BDS. But here on Wasteland Night, the war drums sound. You can feel the bass, and Vitality are about to change the narrative on this matchup. If they can complete a very dominant back 3 games here, Alpha, 1 touch, and 2, there's gonna be no chance for extra, and he's low on boost, and his boost is gone. Vitality, pull back in midfield. Everybody's low now on BDS, so they're going to have to react, but Monkey Moon makes the first touch happen in midfield. Now things spread out a little bit. BDS, quick turnaround. Monkey Moon shot doesn't matter. Even if it's off the crossbar, you still gotta wait. Extra in front. There's another Vitality card to defend it. BDS, well, even when you feel like you've gotten everything right, it all goes wrong. K-Dop can't find the goal. Alpha pulls off on the fake. Now it's on the corner. Backwards he goes. There's nothing that Alpha can do now. It's cleared away. But man, every time Vitality get behind the ball, it's threatening.
Yeah, and it's a couple of close chances too on offense. It's Fairy Pig just air dribbling this, and there's so much space given to every member on Vitality. That's a shot from K-Dop, the pre-flip into the side of the ball. He didn't even jump properly for this, and he still managed to find the angle and correct himself.
It had to be Monkey Moon to get that challenge out to the corner, because he was the only one who had any boost to do anything. Everyone else just had to hope that ball was put in a spot where they could immediately react to it. Instead, it was rebounds, your camera whipping back and forth, and the ball in your net. Vitality, huge start, especially with how their defense is played. Goals are a premium for BDS right now.
And, you know, we always talk about Alpha, and even you mentioned it, Jorby. You were talking about it in your cast. You were just saying, oh, there's another player on defense ready for the stop. And it wasn't even another player. It was the same guy. It was Alpha who got the save earlier, and then he went on to get the clear as well. So it's just him in the defensive side. He's doing so much, and it gives Fairy Pig and K-Dop so much time to get boost. And whenever Alpha makes those saves, they can go forward with a crazy attacking play. And that's why we see K-Dop getting the goal there. And it's Fairy Pig who had the air dribble to set him up while Alpha's holding it down on defense and now on offense.
Great shot by Alpha, but he had all day to make it happen. Marked by 8 couldn't find a challenge against him, and Monkey Moon just kept driving forward on the goal line. I think he might have been expecting Alpha to try to throw that close post. Maybe he was expecting, you know, a quicker shot off the flip reset. But that's the most dangerous thing when a player has that much space and a flip reset to go. If you know the defender's waiting, that means any option that you take can basically work. It's just the most dangerous place to be as an attacker. The defense, at that point, you have to guess almost where the player's gonna go with the ball. You can cut one option, maybe 2 off if you're lucky. For Alpha, good luck blocking any of them.
And what is K-Dop doing off the ceiling to get that interception? I was watching his perspective. He saw and predicted the clear out. And K-Dop, again, okay, I mentioned his name. He got that insane interception in the midfield, and then he goes on to do this.
One of the greatest players to ever grace the pitch of Rocket League will have that beautifully fall back right to him, catching the entire BDS defense out, and it's completely unraveled for BDS. This is crunch time if there's never been crunch time for BDS. Vitality about to do what no other team has done in any regional, and that's just beat them in the playoffs.
That's all you gotta do.
7.
And you've already made history.
There's gonna be a high ball. BDS, the clock has to start soon, even sooner now, but K-Dop has been a force to reckon with in midfield. And the longer every single touch Vitality get are multiple seconds off the clock for BDS. And that's what they're fighting with here. just nothing for them. Just desperate. The second man desperate for a challenge, but he's nowhere close to a follow-up. And so that puts BDS's third man in an awkward position, forced to watch Vitality pass the ball freely past midfield. They are out of boost, they're out of options, and now Alpha just going to carry that down while BDS struggle to find a clear into the corner. Fairy Peak just rolled back beyond his own midfield line to cause chaos in that corner, and nothing's working for BDS.
Yeah.
K-Dop gets back to this. BDS just reacting, constantly in retreat. Team BDS, great save, but less than a minute left for them to get anything going. Can they start it here? No. Extra denied. Monkey Moo can't get back to this ball, and it is a 100% three-man press onto Team BDS from Vitality.
Literally just passing it back and forth between the corners, Vitality. Keeping pressure, keeping the boost control, and now Alpha with these clears. There's a couple demos flying left and right, and what I've noticed is Vitality, they're trying to keep this ball a little bit more in the air, a little bit more high-grounded instead of that slow dribble approach that Alpha started off in the beginning of the series. And BDS, they don't know how to match them. They tried to slow it down a little bit, and then now Vitality are like, okay, we're gonna pick it back up, start booming this one into the air.
The final seconds feel like a mere formality.
Okay.
Alpha 54 lets it roll, and Team BDS are stunned.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that first game from BDS, and I thought, okay, maybe we'll see the exact same thing we've been seeing at every single regional event. But Vitality, it was in the middle of game 2, I believe it was, where things started to shift. You could tell the defense started getting was figuring out how to rotate a little bit better. Alpha 54 started making every single save possible, and K-Dop and Fairy Peak then had the space to move forward, find each other on the offense, and set up that passing play.
Renault Vitality cements their place in the grand finals of the 3rd European Regional. They will play the winner of Barca versus Endpoint, the semifinal that nobody predicted happening, but Vitality have certainly